Welcome back to my channel here at Trades to G. My name is Sammy. Today we're going to take a look at RR, Mobix, MOBX, and KULR. So if you like this sort of content, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and join the Discord, folks. I just want to start off with thank you for the Discord community for being active, and thank you guys so much for tuning in, because this week was an awesome week. I mean, Powell's speech pretty much sent the market into volatility mode, and we took advantage of that. But we're here for KULR, Mobix, and R. So let's get straight into it. So let's talk about KULR first, because that one is very significant. It's been in a downward trend for weeks after its initial high at $45, and it's been downtrending thus for exactly 57 bars. So that's 252 days. Okay, a couple months now. Now, what's happening with KULR is something very interesting, and I highlighted this inside my Discord. Okay, the RSI is forming a wedge, or it's inside a wedge, okay, where price is rejecting bouncing off a certain support zone, and thus we are seeing a significant sign of life and momentum to the upside. So here's that bounce, and thus if you tune it a little bit more, here's a little bit of that wedge I'm talking about. Okay, just have to adjust it now, and now it's breaking up above that trend line, that top trend line. And another thing I want to know is, like, look at your MACD as well. After moving down for months and months, and I mean for weeks and weeks, this thing is looking like it wants to move to the upside. You're already seeing that initial the initial life on this at exactly at $4 where it bounced off. Key area of support, we obviously have this purple trend line that it's bouncing off of. What I see here is a potential reversal to the upside. Now, there's a lot more catalyst before you even take this trade, because the biggest macro resistance line on this chart is exactly this resistance line, which is exactly the 236. Okay, if you're a risky trader, knock yourself out. You want to take these trades at these lows. It's still risky at the end of the day because it can potentially flush. But if you turn on your EMAs, okay, you are seeing that this is on the 3-day chart, excuse me. So on the 3-day chart, which is super bullish, you're seeing the 5 EMA acting as support. If you go on smaller time frames, I'm sure the 5 to 10 20 on the daily is showing a act of support. But I like to turn on my 3 days because it's more reliability. So this is a great start, I'm telling you. So we're now testing that 10 EMA. We still have a couple hours left before we close this candle, but actually we only have 30 minutes left. But if we close above the 10 EMA on the 3-day, folks, this thing is going to potentially make another leg up. Now, you are hitting a key resistance line right here, that trend line, but once Monday comes in, we break above that trend line. I'm probably going to DCA a little bit, just a wee bit here, because that's going to tell me maybe we have a possibility of getting to the 0.5. Okay, I wouldn't want to go in too deep, because again, the one resistance line I'm looking at is at 2367 bucks. I don't mind not being involved in this price action for the majority of the weeks coming. I'm more concerned about this guy, the 236, okay, because we had this huge possibly 2 to 3 weeks of price action literally rejecting that 236. Once you hit above $7.05, this thing's off to the races. But I would rather not risk it. That's why I'm going to leverage in a little bit, very weak, and DCA as time goes on. So very nice to see on KULR. We're seeing the 5 and the EMAs acting very juicy, and obviously we got the MACD showing that the signal has crossed the MACD. The MACD has crossed the signal line, which is very bullish. Okay, we're above the center line, and this thing is now looking like it's printing candles to the upside. Notice how it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and the best part is I'm looking at the positive DI. I'm just noticing it now. Is that the positive DI right above the ADX is super bullish, and it looks like it wants to coil to the upside. So again, I don't mind missing all this price action. I'm more favorable of waiting for price to get up here, to hit the 236, reject it, and then hopefully we get a bounce. Okay, I'd just rather not risk these plays because we clearly have a very defined resistance line at 518. It's been an active support and then a resistance. But if we climb up at 518, we hit that rejection line, well then, you know, it's goodbye, because she's definitely not prone to, I mean, she's definitely prone to come back down after a certain resistance line. If you can take a look here. All right, look at this resistance line, and then we gapped right down, folks. That was a significant gap down, rejection. That was 42% to the downside. Look at this candle right here. Okay, we try to pop up again at this key resistance line at 13 bucks at that time, and thus from that day forward, you pretty much solidify this rejection zone, and then you came back down another 65%. That's why I said I'd rather not risk the trade moving in right now. You can DCA a little bit, not financial advice, but for me to go heavy, closing above that 236 would be chef's kiss. So moving on to RR. Okay, RR absolutely running. But it is time to pull back a little bit, guys. We've had massive swing trades on this thing, and I'm talking massive. If you take a look at from this initial low to initial high, that's 108% from $2.37 from these highs at $4 or $5.20. Okay, approximately. Point is, this thing needs to exhaust a little bit. Well, the last time we exhaust, it was right here. Notice what happened when we had this massive run. We hit a key rejection line, and then we consolidated to the downside for quite some time. Again, you see this candle here. Massive run, nice little couple days, and then we rejected, and then we had a nice exhaustion. And then you're going to see that throughout momentum plays, which is fairly normal. You need to exhaust a little bit, and thus I see a harmonic right now. I see a minor harmonic right now that I'm taking a look at this, okay? I see a harmonic as we speak, okay? So this is your terminal candle I see here. I love seeing these candles because that tells me price wants to reject and exhaust for a couple of days to the downside and then make a new leg up. But don't get it twisted. RR is very much still bullish. It is very bullish. If you notice what I see, another pattern potentially forming, we already created a potential one valley. Okay, one valley. If price comes back and respects, let's say, the 0.65, all right, you have consolidation, then makes another leg up. Well, then that would be the second valley. Okay, you're gonna see momentum plays like these always have rippers, dippers, consolidate in most cases, and then another leg up. Okay, this is super healthy that we're seeing price action hit, reject, come back down, and make another leg up. If you're going to trade RR, you're running into what's called a hot stock. You're running in hot because you're essentially gambling at these highs. Seeing a terminal candle such as this is considered a shooting star on the 3-day, which is confluence. I mean, much more reliability, excuse me. So on the 3-day, I'm seeing a shooting star at the impulse of this move up. I am a little bit skeptical and worried that I would not want to take these trades. I would not enter in these highs. It's not worth it. You're gambling, okay? You're gambling. So how are we going to retrace this? Where is the bottom? Where is the next potential leg up? Well, typically with these kind of hot stocks, I would love to see a pullback, a very significant pullback to the 382 micro, okay? That's $3.30. Are we going to get there? Possibly not, because this thing is very bullish after its recent news. It had a great had an institution upgrade roughly at $6. They upgraded from $3.50 to $6. So what I see here is typically the 236 $3.85 would be a very nice bounce where we come back out. Let me just go ahead and draw the trend line, come back down here, consolidate, and then make another leg up to the upside. Hopefully these candles actually look like they're working. But you make another leg up after retracement, then you make another leg up. But this thing is super healthy. I do have a harmonic completion at the 556 area, which adds a little bit of more confluence, especially with momentum plays. But if you turn on your EMAs, this thing is hot fire. Look at the EMAs rolling right up. And then let me turn on the daily so you can see which EMAs are touching. So the 5 is touching. So if you notice what the 5 is doing, this golden line. Let me turn off the harmonic structure here. Oops. Let me turn off this blue little structure here. If we turn it off, what do you see here? You see that price is absolutely finding support on this 5 EMA. So if we do come back down, I would love to see the 236 385. It would add a little bit of confluence where it's touching that 5 EMA and within this the 236 zone. Okay, it loves that 5 EMA as support, but you are getting a shooting star on the 3-day. I suspect a nice little pullback, just a little bit. I'm not talking too much. I hope it does because we can capture it hopefully at 330. Is it going back there? I can't tell you. I would hope so, but typically with these kind of plays, they're most likely going to have a nice little snapback, small one, and then another ripper, okay? We also have to remember the fundamentals do play a role. So if we don't have SPY, IWM, puking to the downside, this thing is essentially going to continue to the upside. But I love what I see here. After an exhaustion, you are seeing a shooting star on the 3-day. Let price come to you. All right, let price come to you. Don't FOMO up here. You just don't know what's going to happen. Don't do it. All right, I'm looking at 385 as a potential snapback, bounce, and move on to the next. Okay, that's just gonna add. I mean, if you think about it, look at the RSI. All right, we already hit this top trend line here, or I should say this top RSI line right here. So it likes to retrace a little bit, and now you're hitting a new higher high. Okay, so this is not bad, folks. This is typically not bad. This is healthy. After a massive leg to the upside, you just made a new higher low and a new higher high. Let price exhaust a little bit, then you get back in. Last but not least, MOBX. This thing is my little baby. It's obviously been kicked down to the ground, and I don't know if you guys know what this thing is, but it's more of a it's a wireless play. They do have contracts with the military. A lot of tea on this company. We're trading at pennies right now, but the potential upside to this is very positive. Now let's go ahead and turn on our EMAs real quick. I want to show you guys something where price. Let me see if I can turn on the daily. Okay, so price. Let me load the charts. So price now is hitting that 5 EMA daily. If you guys don't know, the 5 EMA daily is going to act not resistance, because look what happened after we had this initial high. This 5 EMA, excuse me, up down here, was acting as I said. Look at this orange line. Resistance, 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 resistance. But what's happening here? Okay, now price is fighting to try and get above the 5 EMA daily on Mobix. Okay, daily. It did find a base here at the 100 SMA, gap down to this trend line here, this macro trend line here. Love to see it, not so bad. But in terms of what's happening with Mobix, it looks like it wants to make a leg to the upside potentially. Okay, we just got to break that candle. We got to break this candle above the 5 EMA, and that's going to be hella bullish, because look at all the EMAs and SMAs literally right above Mobix. If we get a catalyst on Mobix, could be anything, right? Hypothetically, these candles or these tools, these indicators are going to act as support, and they're all above the candle structure body as we are where we are right now. Imagine if it was above. Okay, I can't, obviously we're not going to sit here and speculate, but what I'd love to see is that, look, we're finding a little bit of life, and that's what matters. I do love the positive DI coiling to the upside, and I do love the MACD. It's looking like it wants to spring to the upside as well. Everything's cooking. You got to be patient with these plays. These are more of a news catalyst plays, news catalyst plays, because this is a long-term hold, at least for me. Mobix is very much a long-term hold. It's in the wireless industry, and that's what matters. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. They might get acquired. They might take over Perovis or whatever company that they were looking at, Parapis, whatever it's called. Anyway, wireless technology, and you're in the military, that's music to my ears. Another thing I want to know, I do have this harmonic structure here. It's an alt bat, and it finishes exactly at the 0.5266. So I suspect a nice little resistance line, and thus you see price action. It bounced off here. If you look left, bounced off, rejected this top trend line, and then came back to back test it, and then failed it. Okay, and thus you see, if you came back and back tested, it fell down for weeks on end. Anyway, point is, we have a harmonic to add confluence. This thing is looking very juicy on the 3-day, and larger time frames means more reliability. So everything's looking good. We just got to be patient with this thing. It's just a matter of time. If they don't, they don't. But in terms of what I believe this company can do potentially in the future, this thing is just a sleeping giant waiting to happen. Okay, that's all that matters. It's a sleeping giant. So besides that, thank you so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, join the Discord. It's $20 to get in. We've been getting nothing but bangers like LWLG. That was going up for another 40%, and we also have APPS that was going up for another 17, now 20%. So there's a lot of value in the Discord, folks. A lot of value. Do not miss out. If you like this sort of content, please like the video and definitely join the Discord. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.